Hello, intact. No, Dr. Pecker. No, it's not your turn. Wait, I'll let you know when it's your turn. Sorry, guys. Brand new help, which, you know, you would have known that if you watched the video special. Anyways, hello, Intactivists. In the news this week, we have Intact Global, GALDEF, Foregen, Eric Anderson, Oceanbirth, and much more coming up. In POTS news, we've reached well over 500,000 people thus far. We're past 600,000 people reached since August 8th, so it's been about a month into the cyber protesting campaign. CLR, Hoodie by Nature, breaking the cut, and of course POTS is spearheading this campaign. CLR and Hoodie by Nature are making advertisements that explain circumcision is bad. And of course, you guys have been helping us as well with, if you join the social media defenders, that definitely helps, and you guys can go ahead and join them if you have not yet joined them. That definitely does help. All what you would have to do is just join our Discord and ask to be a social media defender to get live updates if we hear from any people that need to be educated on this matter, and on this matter that circumcision is indeed bad. And of course, those in the POTS community who donate, who use the POTS e-commerce program, CareBuzz, and so on. Also, following POTS on Facebook and X, where I post at least 2 times a day, definitely helps. All of these links are in my description in my link tree. Also, in POTS news, the video special, POTS new pet. You guys already met him in the beginning. Yes, we have Dr. Pecker as a pet. That is his name. He is indeed a lovable chick. So he'll be helping me around here. Also, we did have a PANS meeting that lasted 2.5 hours. We discussed a lot. The conversation that came from it will shape Intactivism for sure. We will be rolling out bits and pieces to you guys over the course of weeks to months, but we have really big plans for this year and the next. You got to have a little patience for sure. And if you want to know what's going on instantly, you can become a PAN member, which is about $5 one time. It's not even monthly. And or become an elite e-commercer for the POTS e-commerce program. And that's pretty much free to do. Then you will know what's going on much faster and your input would be considered in real time. This past Saturday, Dr. Carl's interview was released. And we talked about if men's rights members and Intactivists, if they were compatible. And it was a very interesting conversation for sure. He said a lot of things I haven't thought about. And there was also quite a few people in the comments that seemed to not be cool with men's rights members. I don't think we had any men's rights members comment down below that video, but we had more or less disdain for the men's rights movement. So one person says, "I do not trust men's rights movement. They will probably bring more toxicity to the Intactivists, and a lot of them are red pillars who want to silence women's legitimate struggles. They will ruin Intactivists." I will not continue on reading that, but this is obviously this person's opinion. And another person from Forefront Clips, not to be confused with Forefront. Forefront Clips just does clips of Forefront. They're 2 different YouTube channels. But anyways, Forefront Clips posted, "A better question is, what can men's rights activists do to show they are worthy of standing with Intactivism?" And he continues on talking. He talks quite a bit more. But either way, there's definitely some negative biases towards the men's rights. And there's only one person that says Intactivism is a men's rights. One person out of 3 comments kind of defended it. So yeah, you guys can definitely go ahead and watch that interview. I would definitely appreciate your feedback. And also if you could contribute to the conversation down below that video for sure. But yes, Dr. Carl did have a lot of interesting things to say about the men's rights movement and Intactivism. So definitely go ahead and watch that for sure. And also, if you guys know any men's rights members, go ahead and share this video with them, because I want to know their perspective on Intactivists. All right, and in Oceanbirth news, Oceanbirth, who was gone for 7 months, came back recently. She made 2 new videos about a day ago. One with Anthony saying the titled Circumcision They Did Not Consent. And Peter Adler explains how circumcision is medical fraud. So did not get a lot of views. We got like 26 is the most, but this just got posted. So Oceanbirth seems to be coming back and putting out videos, which is super awesome. All right, and in Eric Anderson news. So Eric Anderson seems to be doing a lawsuit or a petition for temporary restraining order, manifest injustice, titled Emergency up here. So honestly, guys, I am not a lawyer and I will never pretend to be a lawyer. But this does seem that Eric is putting his money where his mouth is and giving this to a judicial court, the 18th Judicial Circuit Court, Seminole County, Florida. So he is going through with this, it seems like. It says plaintiff seeks equitable injunctive relief against defendant who is conspiring and facilitating the profoundly neurotic capital sexual abuse of male children in its care. And I'm done reading that, mostly because those words are really big. So, and also probably the algorithm probably doesn't like any of what I'm saying. So yes, if you guys want to, you can definitely go and either find his Google Docs and read it yourself. It is pretty lengthy for sure. I did read it. It does sound very professional from what I read, but it is super, super lengthy. He even gave following cases and codes of the person that he is trying, explaining that, hey, these are the following cases and codes that back him up. So it is definitely a pretty well written letter for sure. But once again, I don't understand half of it. So if you guys do, that's super awesome. You can go ahead and get this on the Pods' Discord if you want to go ahead and read this. But this is Eric Anderson's petition, temp injunction, Advent Health. And in GALDEF news. So GALDEF has their own page on we.net. So that's super awesome. Now, if you go ahead and read the vision and mission from GALDEF, they do not explicitly say anything about male circumcision. They don't even use the term circumcision here. They don't use male genital mutilation or MGM. They keep it very vague. I know there's been some talk on my Discord about why they did that. I'll let you guys decide why you think they did that, but GALDEF seems to not be stating anything specifically about male genital cutting, period. I'll zoom in so you guys can go ahead and just read this right here. I'll move me. You can pause the video. It will go ahead and save you time. Actually, it's not too much to read if you just pause it. All right. And in Foregen news. Foregen moves towards Milestone 4, launches lab tour video, and seeks institutional funding. This was released September 2nd. This was right before I posted last week's news. So, pre-clinical research progress. Our Chief Medical Officer, Zarion, and Chief Bioengineer, Jean, have achieved significant milestones on our pre-clinical research. So, Milestone 3, focusing on tissue recellularization, is nearing completion. Biomechanical testing of the recellularized foreskins was successfully carried out this past weekend. So that is super awesome news for the Foregen fans. Milestone 4, the final milestone of this research project, is set to begin next with an anticipated completion timeline of 3 to 6 months. We will continue to keep you updated as this work advances towards clinical readiness. So 6 months is about January timeframe when this should be done and completed. Super awesome. Gives us something to look forward to around Christmas time. Additionally, the initial setup has been completed and protocols developed for a timely histological analysis of the full recellularized and maturized tissue. This brief analysis will be conducted following the completion of Milestone 4, providing the data needed to ensure the decellularization and recellularization protocols have been fully refined and perfected in preparation for human clinical trials. This is a picture with him with a paper, looking very, very professional in this lab coat as well with his pens. Okay, so inside the lab, they have their YouTube video out talking about them touring in the lab and showing you the lab stuff. It's pretty much the bioreactors, what they showed you. Now, grant applications. Foregen has been trying to find grant applications for like the past year. This is not any real news. It says we've begun actively seeking and applying for grant opportunities in both the Europe and the USA. Look, Foregen has been trying to find grant writers for a long time. I've covered this on the news before, so this has been going on for like a year and a half, 2 years, probably for 4 years, honestly, but we'll see how this grant finding goes, this grant seeking goes. And fundraising. Okay, this is the numbers here. This past month, our community raised $18,444. Now, if you guys remember Foregen, they did experiments with underaged minors around July is when it got released, and we were seeing at POTS if this is going to affect their income stream at all, if there was going to be angry Intactivists. Well, as you see in July, it did drop off quite a bit, but in August, they did that matching, and it blew up to 52,000. So now, September, them hitting $18,444, $20,000 a month is, typically where I'd like to see them at. But as you see, $18,444, definitely higher than July and June. And actually, honestly, we're going back to April since when they were in the 18,000s. So I don't think Foregen really suffered any kind of pushback from the Intactivists. I don't think the Intactivists really cared that they went ahead and used neonatal tissues or kid tissues or prepubescent tissues. I don't think they really cared, and they are funding Foregen anyways. So, I mean, that's a pretty clear sign to me that Intactivists don't care. But anyways, though, what do you guys think in the comments? I'd definitely like to know. All right, guys, and on to the Intactivist calendar for the week. So, no Circa, Michigan. Michigan March for Integrity is Saturday, September 13th, 2025. 11:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Memorial Park, Royal Oak, Michigan. They are going to be going ahead and going to this march in like 3 days from now. So that is very soon. GALDEF. This is actually a brand new event for GALDEF. So you can go ahead and read this if you want. I'll read it real quick. It says, September is World Sexual Health Month declared by the World Association for Sexual Health under the theme Sexual Justice, What Can We Do? As a WAS member, the GALDEF is pleased to commemorate World Sexual Health Month with a 90-minute webinar dedicated to the question, Circumcision and Sexual Justice, What Can We Do? Join us Saturday, September 20th, September 21st, Down Under, when the following featured speakers will address the questions from various perspectives, including our lived experiences, which is everybody under the rainbow, in the medical community, in the mental health community, in the courts, and in religious communities. So those are going to be the various perspectives. There's going to be about 10 people speaking at this. So they have 90 minutes, but they have 10 people there. So that's 9 minutes a piece, I guess. I don't know. But it says attendees can submit questions, which will be answered after all speakers have made their presentations. I mean, they got 8 minutes to make a presentation, I guess, and then they have like 10 minutes to answer your questions. But it says get your free ticket for this global webinar here. You can just click there. It's free, but this will be on Saturday, 20th of September, and these are the times at 4 p.m. Eastern to 1 p.m. Pacific. So yeah, if you guys want to go to that, you guys definitely can. And Your Whole Baby, once again, they're going to be in Cleveland for Babies and Bumps, September 28th. That is very soon. That is in like 18 days away. So it says visit babiesandbumps.com/events for details and tickets. Bloodstained Men, their Colorado Circumcision Crisis protest, September 21st is when it starts. This is definitely coming up real quick as well in less than 2 weeks. So if you're in the Colorado area and you want to join the Bloodstained Men or just say hello, you guys definitely can. Go to their website and check out their city and time and their location, and there you go. Their website will have everything that you need right under the About Us and Events. All right, so Intact Global. This is actually brand new news for Intact Global. So on their Facebook, they are running an event. It says, for the first time in U.S. history, a state court will hear a case challenging the constitutionality of a law that protects only some children from genital cutting. Hadashek versus Oregon, case number, not reading that, brought by Intact Global, challenges Oregon's anti-FGM statute for failing to protect boys and intersex youth under the same law that protects girls. This case is about equal protection under the law, and the outcome could set a powerful precedent for children across the nation. Your support means the world to every child who deserves protection from forced, non-consensual genital cutting. Okay, great. Pretty much why you should participate. It says you can attend in person. Stand with us in the courtroom as history is made. The location will be at 1200 Southwest 1st Avenue, Portland, Oregon, 97204, United States. You can attend remotely. RSVP to receive live stream details and real-time updates. This is more than a hearing. It's a chance to show the court, the media, and the world that the public demands equal protection for all children. RSVP today. Invite your friends and help us spread the word. So yes, if you guys want to go to this, you can definitely go to the Facebook events for Intact Global, and you can go ahead and join Eric Clopper if you're interested. All right, and on to the polls of the week. All right, so this is actually about Forefront, because this is about last week when I talked about this. I asked, does the Forefront podcast A, inspire you, B, entertain you, C, trigger you, D, annoy you, E, other? So most people put other, which they had different reasons why. You'd have to go into the POTS Discord and go ahead and see what they put in critical feedback. And so can't really talk about that too much. But one person did say that it does entertain them, which is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys. But every single one of these have one for a bot on it. So it doesn't annoy anyone, it doesn't trigger anyone, but it also doesn't inspire anyone. At least who took this poll. Now, granted, it was a very small poll. Not a lot of people answered it. So you can definitely take this with a grain of salt. Once again, guys, if you don't like how this turned out, please go to my Discord and go vote, because your vote matters. And on to the fundraisers of the week. All right, well, Hoodie by Nature bumped up how much money he was going to raise from $600. He already met that goal, and he bumped it up to $1,100. Hoodie by Nature is doing pretty good with the donations, though. He raised $560 in the past week, so that's super awesome for Hoodie by Nature. So can't wait to see what he does with these funds. All right, Your Whole Baby. They are at $962 of their $1,200 goal, or 80% of it. They have raised about $75 this past week. Also, Your Whole Baby's LA Prego Expo booth with their $4,500 goal. They're at 21% of the way raised with $950 raised. No new donations this past week. Intaction. They have not gotten any new donations this week. They're at $7,460 out of their $100,000 goal. Still at around 7% of their goal that they're trying to get. All right, so Genital Autonomy Collective and Circumcision Support Genital Autonomy for All at Pride. They have raised nothing this past week. Actually, this past month, to be honest. But they're at 79% of their $1,500 goal with $1,190 raised. GALDEF's fundraiser, I think they raised a little bit. They're at $1,200 of their $35,000 goal. This is their phase 3. You can see what they raised for phase 1 and phase 2. They're trying to raise $100,000 if you add up all these phases together. But currently they're at $1,200 of their $35,000 goal. So they're about 4% of the way there. All right, so Eric Clopper's Intact Global Fight Against Genital Mutilation. They have raised $42,803 out of their $50,000 goal. They have raised $100, which is an 86% of the way towards their goal. And Intact Global Oregon litigation effort, $400 here. It did not change at all this past week. Okay, Prevail over the system. We're at 28% of our $15,000 goal. That is just the total expense that POTS pays every year. So that gray bar is pretty much what comes out of POTS's people's pockets to keep this running. So anyways, if you guys want to go ahead and donate or tip POTS, that's highly appreciated. But you don't even have to. You can use the e-commerce program or the CareBuzz. Both are very free to do, and it helps us grow and become better so we can serve you guys. All right, and on to the Intactivist growth for the week. Last week, POTS was at 500 followers on X. I just kind of put this on the screen real quick for you guys. But yes, we were at 500 flat followers on X last week. This week, POTS is at 591 followers, which is a 91% gain, or a 18.2% growth for the week. That is pretty good. We are planning and shooting for about 100+ person growth every single week. I am doing this news a day early, so we are right on track. I know it sounds like a lot to grow by 100 people a week, but we definitely aim to raise the bar for Intactivism. So please follow us on X if you have not already. Alright guys, that's all what I have for the news. Don't forget about watching POTS' new pet if you're interested in that. If you're not, that's a-okay. And also, Dr. Carl's interview with POTS talking about men's rights and Intactivism's compatibility. Very important interview. Please like and share to get this out to more people. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Transition, reboot the mission. No fear, no fiction. Truth in transmission. Prevail over the system. Our vision's the difference.